Morning, just coming up to 6:01 on this Tuesday morning. Crews are battling a growing wildfire near Harrison Hot Springs this morning, and strong winds are not helping the situation. The fire broke out on the west side of Harrison Lake over the long weekend, and it now covers about 55 hectares of land. About 200 vehicles from 2 campgrounds were evacuated as a precaution. Several air tankers, including the Martin Mars water bomber, were deployed to the area on Sunday. 70 firefighters and 4 helicopters are battling the flames. It's believed the fire was human-caused.
There aren't a whole lot of structures or homes in that area. It's fairly remote. And, the campgrounds in question weren't really being actively threatened by the fire. The issue was more to do with access. There's only one road in, one road out. It is just a Forest Service road. So we just wanted to be proactive in terms of getting those folks out of there.
Friends and family of 2 men who died while swimming in Harrison Lake in June are speaking out in a public service announcement.
It's advertised as a place that is safe, and it's not.
The winds can change.
25-year-old Gary Duong and 23-year-old Daniel Reed both drowned in the lake's frigid waters. Their loved ones appear in this video and call for signs to be installed along the shore, warning swimmers and boaters about the water's currents and cold temperatures. Officials warn the lake is a lot bigger than it looks, and the winds can certainly catch you off guard. The North Shore rescue team was kept busy over the holiday long weekend, responding to 5 separate incidents. Late Sunday afternoon, emergency crews were called to Coliseum Mountain to rescue a hiker who suffered head injuries after slipping and falling about 5 meters on a trail. Crews managed to locate her in the dense woods and were able to longline her to safety. She was taken to hospital and was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Warning signs like this one are there for a reason. Emergency crews in North Vancouver were kept incredibly busy yesterday afternoon after being called to a number of rescues in Lynn Canyon. 2 people needed to be rescued from the waters off Twin Falls Bridge after a day of cliff jumping didn't go according to plan. 1 person ended up with possible head and back injuries. 2 more people have died from suspected fentanyl overdoses. Vancouver police say 2 teenage boys passed out in a park on Saturday night after taking fake OxyContin pills. Both were rushed to hospital. The 16-year-old boy recovered and was released. However, the 17-year-old died after being taken off of life support. In North Vancouver, a 31-year-old man died after a family member found him in distress on Friday in the Lynn Valley area.
This incident is very tragic, and we'd like to warn the public that if abstinence from street drugs is not an option for you, you need to take precautions. Never use alone. Have a plan. If something goes sideways, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? How are you going to get help? And always use a little bit first. Start with a small amount. You don't know what's in the drugs. You may think you know what you bought, but you do not know until you've used it.
Experts who work with youth say telling them about the fentanyl-laced drug deaths might not be the best way to get the safety message across. They say youth often dismiss warnings from adults, and it's better to take a different approach.
So in the case of using drugs, that's not doing it alone, starting off slowly, getting naloxone from your doctor in case there is someone who's losing consciousness, and being ready to call 911. If all we do is tell youth not to use drugs, that's not going to be helpful for the youth who are using drugs.
2 people are dead and 3 others are in hospital this morning following an overnight shooting that began inside a Toronto nightclub and spilled onto the streets outside. Police responded to a call about shots being fired at around 3:15 this morning on the grounds of the Canadian National Exhibition. The victims are described as a man and a woman in their 20s and 30s. One of them was pronounced dead at the scene. The other died in hospital. So far, there's no information regarding what led up to the violence. The man who posed as a soldier during last year's Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa is expected to be sentenced later today. Frank Gervais pleaded guilty in March to 2 charges for wearing a military uniform despite not serving in the military and for wearing medals he didn't earn. The Quebec man was wearing the Canadian Armed Forces ceremonial dress uniform of a sergeant during the national ceremony in Ottawa. One local LGBTQ group is calling for large ads being displayed on Pattison Group billboards around Vancouver to be taken down. This ad from whyislam.org is troubling to the organization community. The group says this religious ad is basically calling gay marriage a modern aberration. When you visit the website, you'll find a section on sexual deviation, and under that you'll find homosexuality listed. Community's executive director calls the language troubling and incredibly harmful. Well, this is day 3 of the federal election campaign, with 11 more weeks to go until Canadians head to the polls. Conservative leader Stephen Harper and Liberal leader Justin Trudeau are campaigning in the Greater Toronto area today. NDP leader Thomas Mulcair is in Montreal this morning, and Green leader Elizabeth May is traveling to Ontario. Local political analysts say the early election call gives the Conservatives the advantage to get their negative ads out. It also allows Stephen Harper some time to craft his message surrounding the economy.
I think the fact that the economy is slipping into a recession is potentially very significant for this election, partly because the election is likely to be framed around stability versus change. The Harper Conservatives are going to argue that these are turbulent times. Look at what's happening in Greece. We don't want to take risks and rock the boat.
And the Maclean's National Leaders Debate is this Thursday. You can watch it live starting at 5 o'clock.